If you've got a mortgage and you're considering refinancing it from your current bank to a new bank, then listen up, I've got 3 points for you to consider that might help put some extra dollars in your wallet right now. My name is Jeff Elias and I'm the founder of FutureBound, where we help people to get mortgage and financially free. So before we get into the 3 points for you to consider, let me just throw in a reason that you shouldn't be considering refinancing. You shouldn't be considering refinancing if you are what we call a rate chaser. If you are chasing rates and you're going from one bank to another bank and back to this bank and back to that bank, and you're doing this all the time, every 1 or 2 years, then you're kind of not only wasting everyone else's time, you're kind of wasting your own time, because this is not a strategy that pays off long term. And what it tells me is that when you're a rate chaser is that you don't have a better plan. Okay, and really what you need to focus on is just getting a better plan, getting a better strategy so that you don't need to be a rate chaser, because this is kind of the worst kind of way to handle your mortgage long term, is by being a rate chaser. Okay, right, so let's get into point one. So point one is a reason to refinance is because by moving from your current bank to another bank, you're getting a substantially lower interest rate, okay? And it needs to be substantial, not just like a little bit. If it's only 5 points, it's probably only going to save you 5 cents, all right? It needs to be a real substantial, much lower interest rate to make it worthwhile you going through the hassle of doing a mortgage application and paying some legal fees in order to do that. However, if you are in a situation where you're under some financial duress and life is really tough at the moment, then this is totally a valid reason for moving banks, because you might be putting an extra $100 or $150 a week or a fortnight into your wallet, and that might be the difference for you. The difference between being able to keep your house or maybe having to sell your house. And if you're under that level of financial duress, that is definitely one good reason for you to consider changing banks to get a lower interest rate. Point number two. Maybe the bank that you want to go to is offering a really substantial cash contribution, as they do from time to time. Okay, so a standard cash contribution is about 0.6 of your mortgage size. A particularly good one is about 1% of your mortgage size. Now that might put, depending on the size of your mortgage, it could put an extra $5,000 or $6,000 in your pocket as a result of getting that cash contribution. Now keep in mind, you have to stay at that bank for about 3 years, in some cases even 4 years, to not give up that cash contribution. You can't just be moving from bank to bank and collecting cash contributions along the way. You've got to stay there usually for at least 3 years, right? But once again, this is a situation where if you are in financial duress, then this can be a reason that you would want to move banks, because the cash contribution might put an extra $5,000 in your pocket, and that's pretty substantial. All right. Now, step number 3, which I think is probably the best reason for you to refinance, is because you now have a personalized plan that you want to follow. Let's say you've got a plan now to pay your mortgage and how to structure your mortgage and how to take it from 28 years down to 8 years. Then there's a really good reason to refinance in that situation, because it means you can wipe the slate clean, you can start from scratch, you can set up the mortgage that you in a way that it should be set up, and you can implement your plan. All right, so this is really one of the key things that we're about at FutureBound, is showing people how to get a plan, how to implement their plan. And the great thing about having a plan like this is that you don't have to worry so much about what interest rates are doing. It's going to be about playing your game. It's not about playing the game of the Reserve Bank or of the banks. We want to be able to play the game, the mortgage game, on your terms, which is why we think our plans are fantastic for helping you to do this. If that is of interest to you and you want to talk to us a little bit more about your situation and whether it's right for you to refinance at the moment for either point 1 or point 2 or point 3, then click on the link and book a 15-minute chat with us to talk about your mortgage, where one of our advisors can have a look at your situation and give you some direction. Now, our calendars do get booked up quite fast, often days or even a week in advance. So I recommend you to get on there, book it in now, book in that appointment with one of our team, where we will be able to have a one-on-one chat, talk about your situation, and make a plan for what's best for you. See you then.
For more financial tips, advice, and education, subscribe to us on YouTube, and don't forget to hit that notification bell.